My name is Bernadine Walker, and at 32 years old, I never thought my own mother would betray me like this. I worked my entire adult life to save $120,000, dreaming of buying my first home. Then one morning I woke up to discover my account drained and my credit card maxed out, all because I refused to pay my younger sister Amanda's $50,000 shopping debt. The worst part was finding the handwritten note from my mom saying, Amanda deserved my money more than I did. What followed was the hardest decision of my life. If you want to hear how I turned this devastating betrayal around, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments where you are watching from. Trust me, you will want to see what happened when the police showed up at her door. I grew up in a modest neighborhood in Boston, Massachusetts, where most families struggled to make ends meet but did their best to provide stable homes for their children. Our family started as what seemed like a normal unit with my mom, dad, and me living in a small two-bedroom house with faded blue siding and creaky wooden floors. Dad worked as a mechanic at a local garage while Mom stayed home with me. Those early years were relatively peaceful, though money was always tight. Everything changed when I was 12 years old. Dad announced one evening over a dinner of meatloaf and instant mashed potatoes that he was leaving. He had met someone else, a waitress at the diner near his shop. I remember how my mother screamed and threw plates against the kitchen wall as he packed his things. He left that night with just a duffel bag and his toolbox, promising to send money and visit regularly. Both promises proved empty. The child support checks came irregularly for about 6 months before stopping entirely. I saw him only twice. After that night, Mom changed after Dad left. The warmth that had occasionally peeked through her generally stern demeanor disappeared completely. She took a job as a receptionist at a dental office, leaving early each morning with her makeup perfectly applied, but her eyes vacant. She started dating almost immediately, a parade of men who rarely lasted more than a few months. She seemed desperate not to be alone. When I was 14, Mom announced she was pregnant. Her boyfriend at the time, Rick, was a truck driver who seemed nice enough, but was rarely around. By the time my sister Amanda was born, Rick had moved on too. Though he did sign the birth certificate and agreed to pay child support, unlike my father, he actually followed through, sending regular checks until Amanda turned 18. From the moment Amanda arrived, it was clear she would be the center of our family universe. Mom doted on her in ways she had never done with me, while I had been expected to be self-sufficient from an early age. Amanda was pampered and protected. Mom called her princess and bought her new toys and clothes even when we could barely afford groceries. I learned early on that my role was to help care for my sister and stay out of the way otherwise. By 16, I was working after school at a local grocery store, stocking shelves and bagging groceries for minimum wage. My paychecks mostly went toward buying my own school supplies, clothes, and saving what little I could for college. Mom never asked how I spent my money, and I never offered to contribute to household expenses. I learned to be financially independent by necessity. College was a struggle. I had decent grades in high school but not good enough for substantial scholarships. I was accepted to University of Massachusetts, Boston, and moved into the dorms my freshman year using student loans. I worked 2, sometimes 3 part-time jobs, simultaneously washing dishes in the cafeteria, tutoring other students, and weekend shifts at a coffee shop. Every semester was a financial tightrope walk, but I was determined to graduate without the crushing debt that plagued many of my peers. During those college years, Mom and Amanda remained in the small house. I visited for occasional Sunday dinners where conversation revolved entirely around Amanda, her grades, her friends, her activities. Mom had gotten a slightly better job as an office manager by then, and Amanda seemed to want for nothing. She had the latest phones, trendy clothes, and participated in expensive extracurriculars like dance competitions and cheerleading camps. I often wondered how Mom afforded it all but never asked. After graduation, I was fortunate to land an entry-level position at a respected financial firm in downtown Boston. The irony was not lost on me. I would be advising others on financial planning when my own family had such an unhealthy relationship with money. Perhaps that was exactly why I was drawn to the field. I had seen firsthand the damage that financial instability and poor money management could cause. My starting salary was modest, but I lived with 2 roommates in a cramped apartment and saved religiously. Every month, 30% of my paycheck went straight to savings, no exceptions, while my coworkers splurged on designer clothes and weekend trips. I bought my work attire from clearance racks and spent weekends exploring free activities around the city. Some called me frugal to a fault, but I called it security. Over the next 8 years, I worked my way up to becoming a full financial advisor with my own client portfolio. My savings grew steadily, first reaching 10,000, then 50,000, then breaking 6 figures. I tracked every dollar in detailed spreadsheets, projecting when I could finally afford a down payment on a small condo. That number, $120,000, became my obsession, the tangible representation of my independence. Meanwhile, Amanda graduated high school with average grades and enrolled at a state college with her tuition covered by a combination of Rick Father number 2 savings and student loans. Mom threw her an extravagant graduation party that must have cost thousands, while my own college graduation had been marked with a simple dinner at a chain restaurant. Despite the obvious favoritism and emotional distance, I maintained a relationship with my family. We still gathered for major holidays and occasional Sunday dinners. I became the family safety net, the one called when the car needed unexpected repairs or when a medical bill came due. I helped where I could with small amounts, telling myself it was the right thing to do, even as resentment simmered beneath the surface. Last year, I received a substantial promotion at work. My client list had grown and my investment strategies had proven successful even during market downturns. My boss called me diligent and insightful, qualities that made me excellent at helping others secure their financial futures. The promotion came with a significant raise, accelerating my home buying timeline. At 31, I was finally approaching my goal. During our monthly family dinner in January, I excitedly shared my plans to begin house hunting in the summer. Mom nodded absently while serving lasagna, then quickly redirected the conversation to Amanda. Looking back, I should have recognized the signs of trouble brewing, but I was too focused on my approaching milestone to notice the storm clouds gathering over our small family. 3 years into her college education, Amanda shocked everyone by announcing she was dropping out to pursue a career as a social media influencer. She had been building a modest following on Instagram and TikTok, posting fashion try-on hauls and makeup tutorials. She was convinced she was on the verge of breaking through and landing major brand sponsorships that would make her rich and famous. Mom predictably supported this decision wholeheartedly. When I raised concerns about Amanda finishing her degree first, or at least having a backup plan, I was shut down immediately. "You just do not understand how things work these days," Bernie, Mom said, using the nickname I had always disliked. "Social media is where the money is. Amanda has real talent for this." Amanda moved back home with Mom and converted the small second bedroom into what she called her content creation studio. She spent hundreds of dollars on ring lights, backdrops, and a new laptop with video editing software. When I asked how she was funding these purchases, she vaguely mentioned brand partnerships, though I never saw her actually promoting anything specific. What I did notice, however, was her increasingly lavish lifestyle. Despite having no visible income, Amanda always had new clothes from expensive brands. Her nails were professionally done every 2 weeks. She took frequent trips to New York City for what she called networking events, but looked suspiciously like shopping sprees and nightclub outings from her social media posts.